Hello, and welcome to the Voice with Action podcast. I have the opportunity to sit here with our country director and his beautiful wife, who is in charge of our anti-trafficking. She monitors in our anti-trafficking program and is in charge of the feeding program. So I won't share their names just for their protection, but I wanted to ask them a couple questions and so that you all can get to know them a little more. So for our country director, I'll call him Papa. And for his beautiful wife, I'll call her Mama. So Papa, how did you start working for ORR?
First of all, thank you for the opportunity. I started working with ORR, if I remember. Firstly, it was in 2013. I did. At that time, I was engaged just for translating, if I remember. I think that was my first encounter with our President Rebecca and his team by then. So later on, I think a few months later, so I was asked to if I can help work, if I can work with the organization, and what I did accept. So that's how it started.
I love it. And how soon after that did you go into these rural parts, into these rural communities to learn from them? Remember back in those first 6 months when you spent 6 months learning from the community of how what would prevent them from sending their children away? How long ago was that?
Well,
Do you
it
remember?
was immediately. In fact, even before I was engaged officially to work with ORR, I've been going into the villages with the workers by then because we were friends. So anytime I am around, I follow them to the villages, and I was seeing what was being done, and was giving also my part of advice. So
I
that
think
was
that's
it.
part of what Yeah, exactly. I think that's what I loved is that the Lord put on your heart even before you worked for ORR for these you had a heart for these villages and these communities and you had established relationship with these communities and people and you were
Exactly.
praying for them for years. And then this
Yes.
door opened for ORR and you were
Mhm.
able to step in and learn from them as to okay, what will keep you from trafficking your children, right? That's what I love.
Yes, that is true. It's all the Lord doing. It's all the Lord doing. Even before I knew I will be working with Orphan Relief and Rescue, He already opened the door to be helping, to be following them to see what the needs are, and what are the possibilities in which we can help these children. Yeah, so all is the work of the Lord, and we are so thankful to Him.
Mhm. I know, I love it. So how would you describe your work? You wear many, many hats. So how would you describe what you do?
Mm? I first say that that's the best of work in the world, the best, because we are saving children, both physically and also spiritually. It's not only the children we are saving the parent and the caretaker along with the children. So it's the best thing I have ever done in life. So
Mm. So as our country director, and then for Mama, how would you describe the work that she does for your lovely wife, Mama?
yeah, in fact, taking care of the children, uh, seeing that they have been taken care of, they are well fed, also concerning their health, and they are going to school, and they are safe. Yeah, that is what she's doing. And also, with the love of Christ, try to show them the love of Christ, praying for them sometime, or let's say even many times. Uh, so that's all
What
I can
brings
say.
you? Yeah, I love it. What brings you the most joy about your job?
Well, my joy lies in me doing the work of God, like bringing people from darkness to light. And I'm really happy, really joyful, because it is exactly the same thing I'm doing here right now in ORR, bringing people from darkness to light. I even doing more, because we are even also helping them from the even physically uh, recover from the situation. And so that gives me a lot of joy, because we have fed them spiritually, and we have fed them physically also.
Mhm. What would you say is the hardest part about your job?
Mm. The hardest part is that even though we are doing our best to keep these children safe and sound, to keep them in school and all these things, we still find that this issue of trafficking, there are some people that don't want to leave it. They don't want to find another job. So,
Mhm.
and yeah, that's what's difficult sometimes. Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah, what would you say motivates the people in the community to find a different job, to, join the savings and loan program, to send their children to school, to not traffic their children? What would you say is at the heart of what motivates them to
Yeah,
choose
the
something
light
different?
we yeah, it is the light of Jesus Christ that we are showing them. The love of Jesus Christ we are showing them. That's all. That's what making change. The only thing that is making change is that, because there have been many NGOs that go, we can see that still there's no change. But with the coming of orphan relief and rescue and our activities, and since we put the love of Jesus Christ on top of all our activities, this is affecting them a lot. It's affecting them. That's what is bringing real change in the communities where we are working.
Mhm. Yeah, and I've heard you describe before, because it's the love of Jesus. How is that different from what they have learned or experienced, through kind of the way that they were brought up? It's I've heard you describe before, that they never learn about love. Like, they don't know what unconditional love is. They only experience that through Jesus. Because could you speak a little to that?
Yes, I think First John 3:16. How do we know what love is?
Yes, exactly.
Love sacrifices himself to others. But in the contrary, they want the children to sacrifice their life to them. You see, so bringing Christ to them is letting them know the that is the good model of love is the one of Jesus Christ, that humbled himself. Even though he is God, he took the form of a human, and he died for us. That's a great love. That's a great love, and that is what every single parent need to do to his children. To his children, they need to suffer for them. They need to die for them. If we need to say it that way, yeah.
Yes.
And
No, it's
without
go
forcing,
ahead.
that is what they are doing now. That is what most of them are doing now, because they understand, since the light of Christ has been shining in their life, in their heart, sorry, they now understand that that is how they need to live, and they are doing it freely. Yeah.
I know. I feel as a parent, we all need to learn that. Like even in my own heart and life, that my motivation, for my own children is sacrificing what I want to do because of love for them. And the only way, what motivates me is the love of Jesus in my life. It's a lesson for all of us, not
Yes,
just where we work, but for every single person. It's a daily lesson to
it's
walk the
true.
way Jesus walked, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So what is your vision for the future of ORR as our country director?
Well, if I may say, my vision is to traffic, end traffic completely, the way that no one will hear about it again in this. Yeah, and we have the secret to that.
Say that one more time. You
We
have
have
the
the
what,
secret to
Jesus?
that.
You have the
We
secret
have
to
the
that, which
secret
is Jesus?
to end the traffic. Yes.
Yes. Yes, to transform hearts and entire communities. Yes. It's through Jesus.
Exactly.
Is what yes.
Mm.
Well, I'd love to hear from Mama. Could I'd love to ask her, what motivates her in her work for ORR? Why every day does she have such a heart for these children and to go and, make sure they're protected, make sure they're fed, make sure they're in school, make sure they're not being trafficked? What motivates her every
No,
day?
as well, they know one often relief in rescue. Ete kon na majije, ete non swak pakpa yo, baron ti te tek be bono roka hwe, bono yeni si wi azome, yeni si dumu ganji, yeni si no ganji, mede masaya no yo, ye maso yi me gonde yo, ete non newa pakpa basi no blomo. It is God that motivates me. Because those children, if there is any single day I am not able to see them, I'm not happy at all. I'm already looking for them. Always, sorry, I'm always looking for them and looking after them. Don't Jesus no now we are DJ. So Jesus is my motivation.
I love
Ever.
it. I love it. And how does she's able to see too? Like she has a real gift to see if a child is at risk, of being trafficked, or see, where they might need the most support. And would she to say that comes from the Holy Spirit? Does that come from just life experience, or how part of her gifting, in this job and in this role?
Okay, ne akono wa mo tono de fileo yiru vese we yiru ya jiwe people mountain inspire we abi we so agun mo ko to me pon flavor we so ni amo sin le anu tono nu le na area.
Yes, gonna make go jia kun. Oh, emodo viene le no e ma pe nu kun we bi aye won tegbe a e na si fo a.
Well, I myself also I went through something like that. I lived with someone who is not my father nor my mother, and I suffer a lot from it. And I gained some experience also from there, and that's the reason why I know for a truth that those children we are serving, if we are not doing whatever we are doing, yeah, they will not be free and they will not be at peace at all.
Alors go de do iwanu vile o. Esu ko tambo. E do na no guru na.
And also the help that we are receiving for these children is a lot. So we do not need to slumber uh, and not taking care of it.
Yeah, I think that's the power of God's redemptive work in our life, is things, even from our past that were meant for harm and evil, when we come to know Jesus, he takes every part of our life and uses them for his glory and for his purpose. And because of her past experience, she's then able to really see where these children need to be rescued, because she has been there herself. And I just think that's part of just the beautiful work of God, is he redeems all things. And it's just so inspiring.
That's what I effectivement, ma aussi en soirée, ma au demi tour pour exact un tas Hamilton mais pour raison. Bon, mais si vous nous comment dire nous les ou si vous la qu'on filer d'accord, elle a une expérience de voir soit qu'on do jodo mais ou de ado ne so et de ben amo pour jodo mais tu pour Chris ou de actu on raison ba mo a bloc différence au mo a nous là et do na no le a de do na no bon di.
And I'd love to learn or hear from her too. What brings her joy in her job? What brings her the most joy?
Dia te con na ba ji je town do aso ano ai.
No me vaya tan lo fileo. Eso si pe wo so yedo me gon.
Yes, what gives me mostly joy now is that those children we are serving, they are safe.
Me tan eso si pe wo so
And the caretaker or close parent are no more able to sell them, like to traffic them.
Ye ma ye beta wa me le no wa le kun no nanu mejitole. Le nanu me o na so vi o so yi.
If not of ORR and what we are doing, they just traffic and just come around. They will give a gift to the parent and take the child away.
Yeah, mo ye de me we bi no mo wa ji te gba no. Ye when they no me gon ni no lo de ya de enji o ye no na ji ya.
So, for instance, when I was living in that same condition, if had it been that I found orphan relief and rescue, I will not suffer the way I did. So I'm very happy that with the help of orphan relief and rescue, these children are safe and no one can come easily and traffic them again. It is a big deliverance for these children.
Wow. What is the hardest part about her job?
No, it's all me
Well, it's not hard, but just to say that there are, even though we are giving a good protection for these children, there are still some of the parent or close parent that still want to send the children back to some of the children back to slavery.
Because
But anytime we are informed of this, we try our best to see them and to discuss with them and not to continue that way. And if they are seeing us every day, like we are going to the place, to the house every time, they don't move the child because they can't. They know that if they do it, we'll be aware it will not be good for them.
Mm-hmm. Is there any wow God story that she would like to share that comes to mind? Like a testimony?
For example, today. For example, there is a person that came around and wanting us to take care of, to put one of his child in our program, and that same person have trafficked another child. And I asked him,
No.
I asked her how many children she had,
Out of you.
and she said that she had 2 children.
Of it, me we go.
And I said, then where is the second child?
Toton si me lego.
And she said she is with the father's relative.
Ne bono, ne toton si me ono yi.
And I started asking more questions, like what's the name of that relative in question? What does he do at job?
Oh, it's hui bono do, de yero. De waiting do me was do me go away.
And she will finally open herself to me and say, well, I was passing a difficult time, so I trafficked this child for money.
Oh no, Gami don't know. John me, I made it hui we made it. Uvesi wewe na you in a so.
And I told her, my boss said that before we can help this one that is at home, you need to bring the one that you traffic back from trafficking. And praise be to God, today she brought that traffic child. And so I tell her to make a comparison in between the child that the Orphan Relief and Rescue is already taken care of and the one being trafficked, just to look at their parents and tell me what the difference is. Because that child is not in a good appearance at all. And you can notice just by seeing that child that he really suffered. And I tell her that trafficking a child is putting the child through a big suffering. That is not good. That I will let my boss know that she already brought the trafficked child back. And she can really notice the difference between the two children, the one that we are taking care of already and the one she brought from the traffic today. Yeah. So Orphan Relief and Rescue is doing a lot in those villages. And Orphan Relief and Rescue is delivering children.
Wow. Wow. So how would she guess how old was the boy who was brought back from being trafficked?
Around 10 years old.
Mm-hmm.
And she's a girl, he's not a boy.
Oh, it's a girl. I'm sorry. And so a girl 10 years old was who was brought back that she saw who was so severely abused, and Mama was sharing with the girl's mom, trying to educate her. When you send her away, there's extreme hardship that they're experiencing. So what is the next step then for this family with these now 2 children? So that they've brought the girl back, and then so will both of those children go into our anti-trafficking program? What's the next step for this family?
Yes, we will definitely take them in our program, because once being trafficked, if we leave the second one also we definitely be trafficked. So we take them in our program, anti-trafficking program, and we do systematically everything we do for others.
Mm-hmm. And then are the parents then invited to join the savings and loan program?
Yeah, all of them, all of the caretakers are invited to join the saving and loan program. Even though we invite them all of them will not join. So it's a matter of choice.
Yeah. So this is so for all our listeners, this is one of the first stories, like firsthand story of every day there are more children that are being brought back and being added to our anti-trafficking program, especially as word spreads, in these different rural communities and villages. Word spreads that we have the savings and loan program, we have the anti-trafficking program, and as more people are educated on where their children are being sent and the abuse that they're experiencing, then they can bring them back. And so if you would like to help fund one of these children to be added to our anti-trafficking program, that is $50 a month or $600 a year, would support this child for the entire year and support their caretakers in our savings and loan program. So that's something that, here's a story that you can, firsthand story. But I do want to thank you, Papa and Mama, for your sacrifice, for your love, for your care for these children. You are truly an inspiration to me and to all of us, for your heart and allowing just Jesus's love poured into you out of the overflow of his love, just pours into these communities and your people. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful to hear. So I just want to thank you. Bless you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Peter, while I have you, may I ask you one more question?
Okay.
I was wondering, with these, what your vision with, I'd love to hear from you, your vision with these freedom centers that we're building. So we have 4 freedom centers that are funded and being built. What is your vision for how these freedom centers will be used? What do you see?
Wow, like the name is saying, is a freedom center, a place where people will come and receive freedom, psychological and physical and even let's say financial freedom. And we are hoping that God will use this center to free them from the power of darkness to the light of Christ. And yeah.
Yeah, I love it. That is the vision. I mean, it is a community center, so practically it's where the, anti-trafficking program will meet. It's where the savings and loan programs will meet and gather, but it will also be a place that to invite Jesus and experience Jesus. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. Well, thank you, Papa and Mama, for your time. We all love you. All right.
Thank you too.